All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rechak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, and great millstone, who rule well. Peace and mercy to the Tazadak Akim out there that's laboring this truth with all sincerity. I want to say Shalom. All right, and today's topic, all right, is an intransient lesson. I'm driving. I'm leaving work right now, and through the spirit, it just, came to me, and it pointed me to 1 John 4:1. All right, so through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, we're going to go into 1 John 4:1. All right, it reads, "Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of the Most High." So now it says, "Beloved, believe not every spirit." You must try the spirit. So now it's going to when you go into the word try, all right, another word for try is examine. All right, so you're supposed to examine the spirit to know if it's coming from the Most High or not. All right, because there are many false prophets out there that's teaching, that's out there teaching, but they're not teaching the truth. They're not teaching according, all right, to through the spirit of power Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. You have certain Israelite camps that's still calling on Jesus. All right, the Lord is, definitely not. You got to definitely try the spirits with the Christians, because they're not teaching you prophecies. All right, as well as these different Israelite camps. They're going to, you got different Israelite camps that's telling you that the mark of the beast, all right, pursuant to Revelation 13, all right, that the mark of the beast is spiritual. All right, you have people, camps saying that the mark of the beast is sin. Okay, you have, different Israelite camps that says, the book of Hebrews is not, the book of is basically not sound doctrine. Okay, so for you new listeners, all right, you have to try the spirits, because a lot of people through the spirit, like new people that's coming in the faith who just woke up to knowing that they're Hebrew Israelites. When you start off, you enter like different camps. You might listen to IUIC. You might listen to ICUPK, Salakia. All right, you might be listening to GMS. You have people that listen to Sakari. All right, all at the same time. But this is when you have to examine. So it says, when you go into the word examine, it says put someone to question in regard to knowledge, competence, or skill, inquire into qualifications or capabilities. It says inspect or survey, observe in all aspects with the purpose of forming a correct opinion or judgment. So this is exactly what you got to do. How do you do that? All right, how do you inspect or observe in all aspects with the purpose of forming a correct opinion or judgment? By first and foremost actually going into the scriptures and reading. Just like my last lesson, it says I went into blessed is he that readeth. Okay, actually going to the scriptures yourself and not just being a regurgitator. Actually going into the history, actually going to words, because clearly, for example, like I mentioned before, you got different Israelite camps saying that the mark of the beast is is sin, or it's spiritual. You got to simply if you just simply went into the word mark in Revelation 13 and go into it, and see that the meaning of the word mark in Revelation 13, and that it was charagma. Okay, and when you go into the word charagma, it means an incision, all right, or imprint. You will know that is a physical thing. So that right there alone shows you that you have to be reading. You have to do extra studying. You have to do research. Even going into the names, when we break down the names of the Lord, which is Yahweh, which people ignorantly call God, and Yahweh Shah, which people ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Why do we say that? Why do we call the names in the Hebrew? Because first and foremost, Yahweh Shah, he was a Hebrew man. And when you go into it, the letter J, when you research, the letter J was, it came about in the 15th, 16th century. Okay? And then when you go even deeper, how do we know through the Spirit is Yahweh and Yahweh Shah? Because now when you go into the Paleo Hebrew, all right, but you got to do your research and Google what's the Paleo alphabet, you would see that, it basically, when you put everything together, it comes out to Yahweh and Yahweh Shah. But also when you got to go into the scriptures, you got to go into the scriptures because it also goes into, that we're going to call on the Lord, in a pure language. Okay? So you have to do your research. You have to examine, and the Lord is only dealing with one group of people, a particular camp. All right? So let me finish it off real quick. So this is 1 John 4:1. Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are the Most High, because many false prophets are going out into the world. So you have a lot of false prophets that are going out into the world, deceiving the people. But if you are a part of the elect, you're gonna be able to discern who's a false prophet and who's not. Okay? Because the Lord is only dealing with his prophets. He's not dealing with these Christian churches, these theologian schools. All right? So let me get that. This is the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 7, straight to the point. And read, surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. All right. Now, first and foremost, how do you know where are the prophets located? Let's go into Luke chapter 14, verse 23. It says, and the Lord said unto the servant, go out into the highways and hedges. Now we just read Amos 3:7. It says that the Lord but revealeth his secrets to his servants, the prophets. So we know that his servants are the prophets. So this is Yahweh Shah saying in Luke 14:23, and the Lord said unto the servant, go out into the highways and hedges and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled. So you see, first and foremost, the prophets out there that's teaching in season and out of season on the highways and byways, showing you that the Lord is not dealing with these theologian schools, these Christian churches. All right. Now, when you decipher, all right, the Israelite camps, you can even see it when you just look at it. Certain Israelite camps only come out when it's nice outside. They're not in season or out of season. All right. You ain't going to see them in the wintertime too tough. All right. But there's a particular group that's out there all year round and it's teaching the sound doctrine. All right. Who the Lord have revealed his secrets to. All right. Beginning with our apostles. All right. And elders, and their teachers, through the Spirit of how we even got the names and gotten the understanding of these scriptures. Ultimately through Yahweh Shah loosening the seals, but putting the Spirit in those men, all right, to teach us. All right. And, the Lord woke us up, and that was a gift from the Lord for us to discern who the true prophets were, which is the prophets of Great Millstone. All right. And those camps who teach the sound doctrine, that's, under Great Millstone. Okay. So you have to basically not be a regurgitator. You have to actually do the research. All right. You have to do the research because the Lord revealeth his secrets to his prophets, which is the understandings of these scriptures, the true understanding of these scriptures, going into prophecies. All right. Going into the history, going to, the different kingdoms that ruled. All right. And who are, those kingdoms today, and going into, the scriptures, breaking the scriptures down correctly. All right. Because you have different Israelite camps that might break down Daniel 7, the 7th chapter incorrect. But you will have to be a person that does their research. All right. Does their homework. That's what you got to do. That's how you be able to discern, all right, a false prophet, by just simply doing your homework, not being lazy, you know, not just hearing that you're a Hebrew Israelite and just taking everything from, you know, these different camps and bunch it up together. That's why the scriptures also say that a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Because if you listen to one camp saying that the mark of the beast is sin, and then you listen to another camp that says the mark of the beast is the microchip, you're going to be all over the place. You're not going to know what is what. All right? So the main point is you have to examine, all right, the people that you listen to, the teachers that you listen to. All right? Because that's very important. That's going to be very important in your salvation ultimately. Because why? I'm making this clear with the mark of the beast. If you believe that the mark of the beast is sin or spiritual, you would take the chip. And that right there, you know, we know what the scriptures say about those who participate and take that mark. The Lord is going to put you to death by fire, all right, or famine. You know, the Lord is going to come with a harsh judgment upon those who take the mark of the beast, all right, which is the RFID chip through the Spirit. You know, that the Lord revealed that to us, you know, because you have to understand that the prophets back then are not going to, you know, say, hey, that's an RFID chip. They're receiving visions and breaking it down to what they basically can break it down to the best of their ability. But now, because those same prophets now, those same prophets from back then on now, because the spirit of the prophets are subject to the prophets, the Lord has given us more understanding of what, you know, the scriptures were saying. The prophets were the prophets' visions. All right, we're able to break down their visions more clearly. Okay, you know. So with that, you know, Lord willing, this was edifying. I want to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And with that, Shalom.